Hey everybody, it's Mr. Simons. I am going to lead you through the Chapter 2 quiz review. This will cover most of the important skills type problems that we have been working on so far in lessons 1 through 4. So the idea is for you to kind of just see a variety of problems so that you know how to work with them. So let's get started. So these aren't in any particular order. I don't have them in order of like how they showed up on in the book or anything like that. They're just kind of purposely mixed up so you can work on these. So this first one, solve. You have negative 26 equals b minus 3. So we know we set up our fence, and then we want to get b by itself. So what we're going to have to do is do the opposite of what's being done to it. It's having 3 subtracted from it. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. All right, and then that's going to give us b on the right side, and on the left side, negative 23. And then if we plug that in, negative 23 minus 3 is negative 26. So it works. Okay, and then on these moving forward, if you're using this for the first time and you haven't seen any of these problems, feel free to stop the video and do the problem before I solve them. Okay, so here's the problem for a second. I'm going to start solving it now. All right, so it says translate the following equation into a sentence. So in order to do this, I have to put words to this. All right, so I would think about, all right, so I could say, well, a minus b, okay, or the difference of a and b. I'm going to just write, I'm going to say a minus b, and then let's just say is equal to the product. The reason I'm saying product is because when you have distributive property and you have a number in front of a parentheses, that's a product, right? So a minus b is equal to the product of 4 and then this is where it gets weird. How do I say this? Well, I would say the sum of x and 7. The sum of x and 7. And that is how you would write that as a sentence. A minus b is equal to the product of 4 and the sum of x and 7. Okay, so when you say the product of something, you have this and that. And so this and sort of separates it. So this is one part of the product, and then this is the other part of the product. So that's the way you would think about that. All right, solving, a lot of equation solving on this one. So let's put up our fence. We want to get m divided by 6 by itself. So we're going to add 3 to both sides because it's having 3 subtracted. That leaves us with m over 6 because these cancel. 8 plus 3 is 11. And then whenever you see a problem like this, you say, well, it's being divided by 6, the opposite. And how I deal with that is multiply everything by 6. So your 6's cancel, and you get m is equal to 6 times 11, which is 66. 8p plus 3 equals negative 5p minus 75. Okay, so we want to get the variables on one side, and we want to get the numbers on the other side, because we've got numbers and variables on both sides. Usually I move the variables over to the side that has the most. And so 8 is larger than negative 5. So I'm going to move that negative 5 over to the other side, negative 5p, by adding 5p to both sides. So that gives me 13p plus 3 is equal to negative 75. And now I want to get the numbers all on the same side as each other. So we're going to move this plus 3 over to the other side. We're going to do that by subtracting it. That gives you negative 78. It's equal to 13p. And then you would just divide both sides by 13. And that would give you P is equal to -6. Okay, solve this one. So again, and I haven't been reminding you at every one, but if you want to pause and work on it, go for it. Okay, let's put up our fence. Next, let's get rid of the parentheses. Those get in our way. All right, so 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 3 is positive 15 equals, you have 7x plus, well, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times -8 is -24. Now, we have a little bit of collecting like terms to do over here because this one and this one are the same kind of term. So let's do that. We'll just write down our left side exactly how it is. Nothing happened to it yet. 7x and 3x makes 10x, and then subtract 24. So on this problem, we're going to have one of those special cases probably because you can see that we have the same amount of the variable on each side. And usually when that happens, that creates either a no solution or a case where you have an infinite number of solutions. So in order to figure that out, let's just subtract the variable from one side. And in doing that, it winds up getting rid of everything. And it leaves you with -24 and it leaves you with 15. Well, what this is saying is 15 is equal to -24. And unless you're in, some weird kind of dimension, that's never the case. So when you have an answer like that, you would write down, there is no solution to this problem. There is no x variable that can, or x value that can satisfy both sides of this. All right. 2/5 a equals 1/4. You've got a fractional coefficient. So we're just going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 5/2. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. A, which is the same as just A, right? So that gives us A. And then, and then 5 times 1 over 2 times 4, which gives you 5/8. 5 over 8. All right, a couple more. Thanks for hanging in there. All right, write the following sentence as an equation. The quotient, all right, so I got some kind of division problem happening, of 18 and the difference of a number y is 3. So let's do the is 3. Quotient means we're going to have some kind of a division problem. And the quotient of 18, so there's my top number. My top number is 18. And my bottom is going to be a compound term. So there's going to be more than one thing in there. And it's going to be the difference of a number y and 9. So remember how that works, right? Difference of a number y and 9. So you would just have y minus 9. So the quotient of 18 and the difference of a number y and 9 is 3. And then you don't have to solve this. You just got to write this down. And you're good to go. All right. Another kind of wacky problem here. So let's get rid of our parentheses. Whenever you see parentheses and you're solving equations, hopefully you are all over that and say, well, we just need the parentheses to go away. So 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times -2 is -8. And 4 times x is x. And then plus 11. We don't do anything else with that 11. It's not multiplying by the 4 because it's not included in the parentheses. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine like terms where I can. There's nothing to do with that first one. The second one, I can actually add 24 and 11 and get 35 minus 8x. So now what we're going to do is, some of you are probably thinking, oh, those two sides are the same. But while they're close, they're not the same. Look at your signs in front of the x terms. You've got a positive 8x on the left, and you've got a negative 8x. So we can do some solving here. So we're going to add 8x to both sides to get rid of the 8x from over here, because this is smaller. Negative 8 is smaller than positive 8. So if you add 8x, you get 35 plus 16x equals 35. So my 8x's dealt with each other. Now I'm going to move this 35 over to the other side by subtracting it. When you subtract it, you get 16x is equal to 0. And if you divide both sides by 16, you would get that x is equal to 0. All right, we got one problem left. 80 divided by negative 5 times x. Well, whenever you want to get a number by itself and it's being multiplied by something, you do the opposite. So you divide by its coefficient. Negative 5, divide this by negative 5, and you get x over here. And then 80 divided by 5 is going to give you, I believe, 16. And a positive divided by a negative gives you a negative. So you get negative 16. If I put negative 16 in for x, it will give me positive 80. And that is that. I hope this was helpful to you.